Hi folks, welcome to Coffee and Colossians. Friday, it's the last one. We're looking at this incredible passage that summarizes what it is to be a Christian. I think it does. So Paul has been praying for the Colossians that they be filled with the knowledge of God's will. So a Christian is someone who knows God's will. A Christian is someone who lives a life worthy of the Lord and pleases him, who bears fruit in every good work, who grows in the knowledge of God, and who's strengthened with all power according to his glorious might. Now, yesterday I got so carried away that I still, even though it took so long to do just that phrase, I missed out one thing. The power according to the might of his glory, the glory is what God reveals in the Old Testament, the Shekinah glory. It's the same glory that reflected on Jesus on the Mount of Olives. And what is being said there is that God's power is like the sun's glory as it shines upon us, and God's glory shines upon us. So we have great endurance and patience. And then this other aspect of being a Christian is someone who gives joyful thanks to the Father. Now, we shall, what's the phrase? We shall go on to see why it is that we do that. But let's just think about this aspect of giving joyful thanks. So in 3:17, it's a constant theme, by the way. Whatever you do, whether in word or deed, do it all in the name of the Lord Jesus, giving thanks to God the Father through him. Christians are to be a thankful people, and we are to be a joyful people. Acts 2:46, they ate together with glad and sincere hearts. Philippians 4:4, rejoice in the Lord always. 1 Thessalonians 5:16, be joyful always. Now, we need to be incredibly careful here, because that doesn't mean I've always got a smiley, happy face. You know, by the way, I hate this. I obviously, when people have done media training, they've been told, now when you look at the camera, make sure that you're smiling all the time, because that's a positive sign for people. Oh, it drives me nuts. If I look miserable, I look miserable. I'm sorry. But no, it doesn't mean, it's not, what I'm trying to say is, it doesn't mean necessarily effervescent. There are some people who are effervescent. My daughter being one of them. It doesn't mean always feeling happy. That's a very rare condition to have. And in fact, biblically, it seems to me to be almost an impossible one to have. But I guess there may be some people. In fact, joy is often spoken of in the context of the New Testament in terms of suffering. So 1 Peter 1:6, in this you greatly rejoice, though now for a little while you may have had to suffer grief in all kinds of trials. You greatly rejoice because of what's been told you about the inheritance you have and about God and Jesus, even though you're going through all kinds of trials. And that's the paradox of the Christian life. You can experience immense suffering and still know deep joy. It's almost impossible to explain giving joyful thanks to the Father. Here's another paradox. I sometimes find that people who've gone through the greatest suffering are the ones who give the most thanks. And those who have relatively, or at least at the time, relatively easy lives, we forget to give thanks. Let me just illustrate this. My mother-in-law, who's one of the godliest people I've ever met, when she was still alive, she told me that in the 1930s on the island of Lewis, when they gave thanks for food, they did so because they didn't know where the next food was going to come from. And so they were so thankful for it. Now, we just take something out of the fridge, we get something from the shop. Most of us are not in that position. There are people who are and go to food banks and so on, but most of us are not in that position. And I wonder how often we give thanks at meals and genuinely do so. I mean, I've just had some lunch in my office and I'm trying to remember, did I thank God for it? Well, I certainly will now, because this is the idea of giving joyful thanks to the Father for everything. So I'm going to leave you. I kind of did some music yesterday. I don't do this all the time. But as I was looking for the Brooklyn Tabernacle Choir, I came across an old favorite of mine, which is the Mississippi Mass Choir. And I just love this song, and I love the joy of it, and I love particularly the joy and the power of the lead singer, who I think at the time was over 70 when she sang. So enjoy this. See you for songs on Sunday, and hopefully see you next week. Bye.